You want to pick a nice straight grain wood out. Now does anyone, you have a choice, does anyone want to see me make this round?
No.
Okay.
Done.
That's good. So these I got these sort of roughed out last night. So if something bad happens, I can just grab the next one in the series and keep going. But what you end up doing is you get it round, you mark off where everything is. So this will be, you'll get the bowls here, the stem will be here, we'll get down to the foot down here. And you give the bowl sort of a rough shape. Then you can go in there, I drill a depth hole, then you go in and start hollowing it. You do all the work on that first, while this is nice and thick and you can support it. Then once this is hollowed out, and we'll sand this up, and so basically this will be completely done on the inside and outside. And then you start whittling away this part to make your stem. So that's what we're going. This is sort of, I've already done the hollowing on this one, and you see I've started to cut the stem down on that one.
Do you set the foot before you start tearing that middle apart for the same reason?
Do I set the foot? No, the foot I do very, very last. So I know where it is. I'm not worried, I won't do any cutting on that till I get pretty far along.
I would think in terms of torque that I wouldn't want to touch that part once that stem is finished. There's not a whole lot holding the stem, and I just assume know where my base completely was. And it's solid still.
I haven't had much issue, at least with these four. There has been no issue. You sort of have to think about what your transition is going to look like going into the base, though. So you sort of have to, as you're doing this, you're sort of got to figure out, what are you going to do down here? You're going to put a little bead or go straight into it, or is it going to hump up or cove out? So you sort of think about that as you're going along, but I definitely do this at the very end. But I haven't had any trouble with torque or anything, and then because actually you also have to part this off when you get down there too. So the thing is, you're not holding the bowl, so this is all sort of free spinning. So even if you do get a catch down here, it doesn't really torque that very much. If anyone wants to pass around the goblets, feel free to grab them. So basically, this is just a,
Hey, one drink at a time, Tom.
What kind of wood? Yeah, what kind of wood?
It's mahogany that I bought at Highland Hardwoods for 40% off. So, but it's mahogany, so it's nice. It's a softer wood, so I'm not going to, hopefully not embarrass myself by trying to do hard oak or some hard exotic. So to be a pain in the hollow. Now I was telling people, this is a records chuck. It's called an SC4, I think they call theirs. But it's basically, it's the same chunk as the Supernova 2. But if you take a look at them, maybe after the demo, just look at the insert to the record compared to the insert on the Nova. And this, just everything about this is just a little bit nicer. If their numbers on the jaws are engraved, not just stamped. So it's a nice chuck if you ever see it. It costs about the same as the Nova. So if you have a choice, I think they sell them both here.
Are the jaws interchangeable?
The jaws are interchangeable. You just have to swap 2 and 4 because the records are numbered counterclockwise, and the Novas are clockwise. So if you swap 2 and 4, that puts them into the right order on here.
It shouldn't matter though, because the jaws are all made the same.
What's that?
It shouldn't matter, the jaws are all made the same.
Well, but what is, they make them as one piece and they cut them. So you want to keep them in the same order as they were cut. And since these are numbered backwards.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So I mean,
Certain machine,
so on this one, this is number 4, this is number 1. On the Nova, this is number 4. That's why you swap them. But,
And what's that brand again?
a record. RECORD. But they're having a big, they're from, I think they're made in England, well, not sure if they're made in England, but the company is out of England. I'm not sure, they're probably made the same places the Novas are made. This is the other difference is they, it tightens and loosens opposite the Nova. So. When I do these, I keep my tenon nice and long so I get a good grip on it. I make sure I don't bottom out on the jaws, but I still keep it. I like to give a good grip on this. Because what's going to happen is I'm going to be hauling out up here, you know, it's going to be hanging off quite a bit. So. Pencil, just real quick. So my hole's going to be around there, around there. So first thing I'm going to do is delineate where the, so my bowl's going to basically end right about here. So what I'm going to do now is think about the shape of the bowl. And I mean, if you looked at it at wine glasses, you have some that flute up like that, or some that curve in. It's one of the ones there I do an OG on it. The simplest one, if you want to do your first one, that's actually not the best shape, the one with the OG. So the best shape, if you want, the easiest is you want to do sort of like just a tapered one, because then you're cutting straight in. It's a lot easier. You don't have to worry about going around different grain directions or anything. So, but this one we're going to do a little bit of like a tulip shape almost. So what I'm going to do is
Tom, what's the tool you're working with there?
this is a roughing gouge. This is D-Way's roughing gouge. So I'm going to put, maybe my curve is going to go around there's going to be the widest part. So this is basically just making like a big bead. Just like basically spindle turning. My grain's running this direction. Just think of it as a big bead on the spindle right now. So same. Same techniques as regular spindle turning. And at this point, I just want to do basically a rough shape. So I'll have a chance to come back and cut it down a little bit more once I get the outside done, maybe. Probably want to get the lip done where you basically want it to be. But down here, I'll have more meat. So I'll be able to thin it down a little bit if I get too thick out down there or can't get it hollowed out all the way. With that shape. So now, so next step is begin hollowing it out. Yeah, so we'll do this.
You would even take out your tool marks now?
What's that?
You would even take out the tool marks now?
Well, first of all, the only place I have tool marks is basically right here. And that's, I said, that's, I'm gonna go back and touch that later. Because I need to refine this a little bit more to get it down and to do my transition and everything here. So I can come back, I'm gonna touch it here. That's the only place I have tool marks. This is nice and, you know, this has no tool marks right now. But, you know, that's the only place I would think about doing in like that.
You're just leery about going back once you're free like that, and you're starting to suck the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Things are pretty fragile. Well, they
Yep.
used to be.
Well, here, let's say there'll be more meat here. So you'll be able to come back to this part. The very rim, maybe not. That way you probably do that with sandpaper if you were going to do any more shaping on that. So what's nice is, you know, it's mahogany, so it's rather soft wood. It's in this spindle direction, so it's really easy to sand. I mean, it's a great wood for shaping with sandpaper if you have to. So what I'm going to do is do a depth hole with this. And this is basically just a drill bit glued into a handle. I have a little O-ring on it, which is my depth gauge. So I'm going to go down to about where I think the bottom is going to end up. A little bit here. Okay. Now, end grain hollowing. What do people like to use for their end grain hollowing?
Spindle.
Spindle gouge? Anybody else?
Do you have a crazy bolt gouge lady back there?
Well, I said there are a lot of there are a lot of options. You can definitely use a spindle gouge, and if one of those videos I had in the newsletter was use the Richard Graffin technique, which if I try that I kill myself, so I don't do that one. That one takes a lot of practice, where he basically takes his spindle gouge, he goes in and up like this, so he's actually turning on the upper side, and yeah, I mean, does anybody do that? Do you do that? No. So I mean, I've tried that a couple times, and the better part of valor. So I'm about to do a demo. You can use. I have a termite tool. Has anyone seen one of those?
Have you used it?
I've used it, and I'm not good at it yet.
Okay.
It clogs up a
It's
lot.
in the box. I haven't used it.
Yeah, put the biggest bit on. I have the smallest bit on, and it clogs up all the time. So, but anyhow, but it's like a little ring on the end. It's made just for doing end grain hollowing. So that's a nice tool. The carbide tool is being passed around. That's an option. So I'm going to start with just my my bowl gouge. And then we'll actually cut to the chase and go to the this nice inexpensive hollowing tool that everybody has. But the thing is, you're doing end grain hollowing. Now, to start with, it probably doesn't matter which direction you go. So, you know, ideally though, you want to be able to scoop it out this way. So on a regular bowl, you would go in and hollow that way. But your grain's coming out like this. So if you think about it, where the grain's going to be supported is if I'm cutting, I want to scoop it out like this so that the grain is supported behind it. Or if I come in like this, I'm going to be tearing that grain out. So on your finished cuts, you're going to want to go from basically the bottom to the top. And again, that gets to be a little bit, the smaller openings, that gets to be tougher and tougher. So that's why I just go in and I go with my scrapers usually when I get that far. So that's where the carbide tools work well. I have this little negative rake one, which is sturdy enough. That works really well. And I have this bowl scraper, which, nice story. I had my shopsmith years ago, and I did a couple turnings on the shopsmith. I won't show anyone those. So my wife came down to Woodcraft and wanted to get me a turning tool. And they sold her this thing. And it stayed in my drawer for 15 years. And finally I pulled it out when I was doing some of this hollowing. And it's actually pretty good for getting up the sides there a little bit, but it's too flimsy. It's just, it has a lot of vibration.
Cute.
Very cute, yes. It's really good if you're supported. It's really good for getting under the rims and things like that. But otherwise, that one has issues. But yeah, I have a nice big. Which that I can actually get into there and get a little bit more of some of the meat out. So I'll probably use that one a little bit. But again, the nice thing about spindle turning is I can use any tool on this, except for maybe the roughing gouge on the hollowing part, without getting in trouble too much. So I'll start a little bit of hollowing, then I'll go to the Forstner bit just to speed things up a little bit. Vibration. Yeah, this one's hanging out quite a bit. If I had one, I probably would use a spindle steady on this to cut down the vibration a little bit, but I don't have one.
Let's read your speed up.
Go through it that way.
So yeah, but that's how I would approach it, is going in and cutting it like that for a while. Do you do the Richard Raffin technique? Does anyone do that? The boxes and things? The wings? Once I want to get a little deeper, I'll be using the wings. So, but well, for now, I'm going to cut to the chase and cheat a little bit. This seems really awkward. I'm not sure why. Does anyone else notice that on this lathe? It's, for me, this is just really awkward the way it works.
You can save 10%.
What's that bar coming off of that?
This?
Yeah.
I think that's for
To go like,
you can do like a copier or
ooh,
a shield on it. You know, those wire fence shields. So I think that's what it's for, but I'm not sure why it's on.
The Powermatic has those for duplicates.
Right, but I'm not sure why it's on the tailstock, which moves.
The wire shield.
So
Not usually like it.
yeah, so I mean, I'm not sure why. It doesn't make sense to have it on the tailstock though, right? Because you're gonna be moving the tailstock around, so
Still,
does it?
there's points that hold another piece so you can look at it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, for duplicating. So this. Okay, I went down to about check this.
Now you just do a bigger portion of it.
What's that?
Now you just go to a bigger portion of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll do the rest by hand. So. So now,
Oops, don't go too far.
well, hopefully they'll just stop there. Or they don't.
But you've got it locked.
Yeah, no, just my jet has a stop so I can push it all the way and not worry about it. I think the Powermatic does too. keep track of where you're going and.
Why do you go from the bottom up with that,
Yep.
a bowl the other?
It's because of the way the grain is running. On a bowl, your grain's running this way, crust. So when you're cutting down, think about it. So when I'm cutting down from the top, I'm cutting at an angle this way. So this thread will be supported by this thread, supported by that thread.
Gotcha,
Where if I went the other way on a bowl, on a regular bowl, I would be tearing those out.
gotcha.
For this one, the grain's running this way. So when I'm going from the inside out, again, I'm pushing up this way at an angle. So this fiber is supported by this fiber, by that fiber. So, should really get my straws out. 'Cause gonna help.
Can you hold the gouge underhand so that we can see
Can I what?
underhand so we can see the angle of entry and all that is.
Question is no. The answer is no.
And that's still the bowl gouge that you're using?
This is still a bowl gouge. Yeah.
Are there wings on that? I can't see.
Yep, a little bit. At this point, I'll probably move to a scraper.
It's singing.
Singing a lot. Knobbery. How much will go around?
Should be back here somewhere.
You could have a lesson showing people how to make tools, you know.
That'd be fun. I've made a couple. But these, they're $20. Don't pay 100.
That's why we
I mean, the thing is, if you're going to go carbide, This piece right here is the only piece that really matters. This is all just soft steel, even out there. Unless you get their, I mean, their hollowing things are nice because they're nice and wide. But they're normal, just, they're medium-sized tools. There's nothing,
Hey, have us sign up in advance and you can buy materials, we'll pay for it.
so, yeah, we can do that. So, what am I doing here?
Hey, Tom, did you adjust the tool rest height before you switched to that tool?
I didn't.
Because it looked to me like you were running that in the top third of the...
I was a little bit, because that way if you get a catch, it has room to release.
So you want it to be that...
You want to be a little bit higher than center, just a little bit. Because you know, if you're on the curve, on the inside curve, if I'm up here, it has a place to fall if I get a catch. But if I'm right at center, if it catches, it's going to dig right in. So.
Now you're going back and forth on that, whereas before, is it because that's a carbide tool that you...
Right, it's because it's a scraper.
Yeah.
Scrapers really don't have a direction. Because you're going across the surface and you're scraping with fibers, you're not cutting them. Where if you're cutting them, you want that support in the back so you get a clean cut. So, that's the hardest part, to get that little bump right in the center. A little bit more than we'll string them. might be it for hollowing, for now at least. I'm not gonna be too brave. Yeah, so right now it's pretty much an even thickness down to about here, so that it gets a little thick. Like I say, I'll cut this down a little bit and do my final shaping. And again, a little bit of sanding and we'll bring that down real nice. I'd probably go down a little bit more if I was at home, but there's no one to laugh at me there but the cat. Okay.
You won't come back into that hole again, though, right?
I will not. At this point,
It's at the final depth that you want.
it's the final depth I want. At this point, I would sand it all down, make sure everything looks good. This one did not crack yet or anything, so it's good. So yeah, I would sand it and get it down to a decent finish and make sure everything looks good. And I would know how much room I have here to play with a little bit. So when I start cutting this in a little bit, I know how much I can still take off of there.
Once you start narrowing the stem down, get torque, you can never go back to the roll after that.
Yeah.
So as you begin to do your stem, you work from back to the front, and you sand as you go along, because you can't even sand once the torque. Sure. You kind of sand around you.
So,
What will you use for finish?
it depends. If people are actually want to try to drink out of it, I'd probably do like a poly finish or something like that on it.
Okay, polyurethane.
If people really want to use it. If it's just going to be decoration, then I might do, well, I think all the ones going around have like a beeswax an oil finish. I don't know, I've never used them for actually drinking,
Okay.
so. The Tim Yoder video in the newsletter, he used Waypon Poly. So he doesn't say whether it works or not, but that's what he used. And it was, I think that one was going to be used for drinking out of, at least for, it was a wedding goblet. So I think that was going to be used at least once. So, but again, you don't want to have liquid in any of them for more than, an hour or so. Because it's wood, you just don't want to do that. So. Now, we're going to start getting down pretty small in there. So, now I'm going to find some way to support this while I'm working down here. A lot of people will use a tennis ball. They put a tennis ball there and then just run the point into the tennis ball. I don't play tennis, so no one in my family has ever played tennis. So I got this. This is the cone center for the one-way live center. So I put that on, wrap some. This is, I think, an old yoga mat, rubber yoga mat that's on there. I did the tallest goblet. I used this without the padding. If you look at it, there's a gray ring around the rim on the inside, and I can't get that. I can't even sand that out. It's I think from the aluminum. So it comes up here and actually get some working room. So you don't want to push too hard because you don't want to put any stress out here, but just enough to support this so it's not going to start shaking around on you. So now what I'm going to be doing is to this to take some of the meat off of here. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to get rid of some of this wood so that I can go in and finish my shape here and do my transition into the stem. then we'll gouge. And then now I'm going to start thinking I want to go take a little bit more off of here. I find I don't do a lot of spindle turning, so I really have to think about what I'm doing. That. That shape's sort of what I want coming out of there. Shorter breast. Now, ideally, I'd have my rest, but maybe this long so I can get right in there on the stem. But a little bit of tear out here. I'm going to take care of that. That's where you can get a lot of little design ideas. If you want to put little beads on here, or do a captured ring or something like that, it's the time to start planning that. But I'm just going to do a straight stem to that. I messed that up. Having a lot of problems with vibration because I can't get my rests closer. But they don't have shorter rests around here anymore, do they? But anyhow,
No, I checked the pressure on the tailstock.
what's that?
I checked the pressure on the tailstock. Sometimes you get
What about my tools are vibrating?
sometimes you have too much pressure on there, it's trying to compress the wood, you know?
Oh, yeah, it's not this moving, it's my gouge is too thin, Tom. Is it open? Much better. Well, what people want. Right now it's gradual. Yeah, we can do that. Just gotta smooth it out a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so now we're going down to the bottom. So let's make sure that is all. Still some tear out there. Better. Okay, they're down to the foot now. So, and so now it's a matter of what you want it to look like. Ah, crap. Or something different here. more, be all set for. Move my bottom down a little bit because I have some tear out. And that's basically going to be it. I'm going to leave it attached so I can do some sanding on it later.
How do you finish the foot when you part that off?
I have 2-inch sanding discs that I use in my drill. What I'll do is I'll put the Jacob's chuck right in the headstock with one of those in, and I'll just sand it down that way. There we go. Then home I do it a little bit thinner, but since I'm
The old truck is making 5 more just like it.
that I won't do. My kids want me to make a chest set.
If you're going to use it to drink out of, would it be thicker because it's be more resilient, or would that would be
It
better?
would be good if we probably leave it thick, or at least still at the end where it's on the bottom. Because if it's going to leak, that's where it's going to leak, where the end grain comes out.
Thank you, Tom.